Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Dhamine Rama Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Vishnupad Paramahansa Guruvadakacharya Asadhara Satushi Shiman is the Divine Grace Kalesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Namo Slava Zarani Bhakta Slava Shri Guru Shri Guranga Om Agyanatvarandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksur Unmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadaki Swapadantikam Pandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Vrajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vasakam Vitam Scha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabandho Nagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchakapa Drupyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 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 Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, Text 31. Nanyam lokasta Nanyam lokast yagyasya Nanyam lokasta yagyasya Kutam yakuru satama Kutam yakuru satama Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Kutam yakuru satama Kutam yakuru satama Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Yakuru satama Kutam yakuru satama Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Kutonya kuru satama Kutonya kuru satama Nayam lokastya yagyasya Nayam lokastya yagyasya Kutonya kuru satama Kutonya kuru satama. Ladies. Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Kutaya kuru satama Nanyam lokastya satyagyasya Nanyam lokastya yagyasya Kutaya kuru satama Never I am this Loka planet Asti there is Ayagyasya for one who performs no sacrifice Kutaha where is Anya the other Kuru Satama oh best among the Kurus. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O best of the Kuru dynasty, Without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Please repeat. O best of the Kuru dynasty. Without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Purport. Whatever form of material existence one is in, one is inevitably ignorant of his real situation. In other words, existence in the material world is due to the multiple reactions of our sinful lives. Ignorance is the cause of sinful life, and sinful life is the cause of one's dragging on in material existence. The human form of life is the only loophole by which one may get out of this entanglement. The Vedas therefore give us a chance for escape by pointing out the paths of religion, economic comfort, regulated sense gratification, and at last the means to get out of the miserable condition entirely. The path of religion, or the different kinds of sacrifice recommended above, automatically solves our economic problems. By performance of yajna, we can have enough food, enough milk, etc. Even if there is a so-called increase of population. When the body is fully supplied, naturally the next stage is to satisfy the senses. The Vedas prescribe therefore sacred marriage for regulated sense gratification. Thereby one is gradually elevated to the platform of release from material bondage and the highest perfection of liberated life associate with the Supreme Lord. Perfection is achieved by performance of yajna, sacrifice, as described above. Now, if a person is not inclined to perform yajna, according to the Vedas, how can he expect a happy life, even in this body, what to speak of another body on another planet? There are different grades of material comforts in different heavenly planets. In all cases, there is immense happiness for persons engaged in different kinds of yajna. For the highest kind of happiness that a man can achieve is to be promoted to the spiritual planets by practice of Krishna consciousness. A life of Krishna consciousness is therefore the solution to all the problems of material existence. This microphone gets more attention than anyone else. Take birth as a microphone, have everyone try to put you just right. Nanyam lokos yadagnya, nanyam lokos yayagyasya kutanya kurusatama. O best of the Kuru dynasty, without sacrifice, one can never live happily on this planet or in this life. What then of the next? Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Tinamane Namaste Saraswatam Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskadyade Sakarne. Most people will be surprised that the way you solve material problems is to get out of the material world. Sometimes people call us escapists. That's right. We're trying to, if you're in a blazing fire and you run out, and someone who's outside the fire says, you're an escapist. Well, you can tell them I left my train set in the fire. You can kindly go and get it for me because you're not an escapist. Please go and get it for me. So this is the vision of Bhagavad Gita is not that this world is full of fun and games, and that we have to try to make it more fun, is what modern society is trying to do. Inventing the ways, new video games all the time. First they had silent movies. That was a big thing. They actually had moving pictures. And then they had talking pictures. Then they had color TV. Then they had, did they ever have they had 3D TV, I guess, don't they? They had some, at least in America, one devotee had a 3-dimensional television. I don't know what it looked like. Has anyone ever seen a 3D movie?
We have it.
Does it really look 3D?
Something.
Something, yeah. They do the best they can. Then they have these virtual reality glasses. Do those work? Anyhow, they're trying. They're trying to make a better illusion for us. This world, you can't really control it. You can't enjoy it. So you have to go into another world of more of illusion, where you can try to forget about all the problems you have here and live in a dream world for some time. So whether it's intoxication or whether it's technology to put you into a dream-like state, it's all right. But actually it is all right if we come to our rightful consciousness. If we come back to our original state of being with Krishna, because Krishna is an unlimited reservoir of love, of ultimately transcendental pleasure, which what everyone is hankering for, because if you have an ocean of pleasure compared to a drop, the drop is not very much. So we're looking for the ocean of transcendental pleasure, and here we're getting hardly a drop of actual happiness. So, the process of becoming happy is a form of yajna, sacrifice. Do something for Krishna. Jnanena tu tad agyanam, yesham nashitam atmanaha, tesham adityavad jnanam, prakashiti tatparam. Or we back up a little bit. Sarva karmani manasa sanyasyase sukham vasi naiva dvare pare dehi naiva korvam nakaryam. When the embodied soul controls his nature and mentally renounces all activities, neither working nor causing work to be done, then he lives happily in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. In other words, if we actually think about Krishna, then if we actually can feel Krishna's presence, then we'll be actually satisfied that we've actually found what we're looking for. And therefore we can live happily in this body when we come to the platform of constantly thinking about Krishna and experiencing his presence. Thinking about Krishna is not like thinking of something material, which is, of course, one can become emotionally involved in one's thoughts, but generally most our thoughts are pretty dull, and we're not really so much emotionally involved in them, unless someone gets on we hate someone or something like that, or we become very desirous of something. Other than that, most of life is pretty boring. The only exciting part is when there's some prasadam before us, then we become alive again. Or when we see the soft pillow and it's time to go to sleep, we can dive into the nothingness of peace and happiness. All our problems go away. And our true love is there. And if we have a teddy bear, we can share the bed with our beloved. But actually what we're looking for is the platform where our consciousness, as I said before, we have a television in our heart, and all these books are about transcendental Krishna consciousness. We can actually enter into the spiritual realm by simply focusing the mind, broadening our mind, and first of all, even imagining these pastimes. In other words, we have to put something in our heart, and we can do that if we try, because there is something called a heart. There's something called our mind, which is more or less where the heart is. Our mind's in the heart. And if we just, for instance, in my favorite pastime, in the Krishna book, or one of them, when Krishna is seen walking in the bank of the Jamuna, he's nicely decorated with tilak on his forehead, and he was garlanded with forest flowers, and his body was smeared with the pulp of sandalwood and tulsi leaves. The bumbles became mad of the treasure and the sweetness of the atmosphere, and being pleased by the humming sound of the bees, Krishna began to play upon his flute, and the combined sounds became so sweet to hear that the aquatic birds, like the ducks, the swans, and the cranes, they stopped swimming and flying, and then they close their eyes and enter into a trance of meditation and worship of Krishna. So we can actually take it one by one and actually try to see if we could actually start forming a picture within our brain, in our mind, actually. See, just one little bit at a time, when Krishna was seen walking on the bank of the Jamuna. So we can see Krishna, that is, what color is Krishna's body? What's that? Blackish blue. And how can you tell it was Krishna? What are some of the marks on Krishna? What are some of the characteristics that Krishna has? If you walk down the street and you saw someone like that, you say, oh, that's Krishna. How would you recognize Krishna? No one knows. What are some of the characters? Does anyone know anything that would help you recognize Krishna? What's that?
Peacock feather.
Peacock feather. So can you imagine a peacock feather? If not, you can turn around. There's a peacock feather. So imagine a peacock feather, and where is the peacock feather on Krishna? On his head. And what color is his hair? Black. So see someone having a peacock feather. And his hair. And what is his eyes like? Yes, like lotus petals. What color is his lips? Bimbu. What is that color? Red. And what does he carry with him? A flute. So and what color is his dhoti? What's that? Yeah, yellow. And is he very attractive? So then again, if you hear the same thing, when Krishna is seen walking on the bank of the Jamuna, so can you see Krishna now when he's walking? Can anyone see Krishna walking now? And he's walking on the bank of a river, the Jamuna. And he's nicely decorated with tilak on his forehead. So you can see Krishna has tilak on his forehead now. And he's garlanded with tulsi leaves. He's garlanded with forest flowers. So what color are the forest flowers? What color are forest flowers? Lakshmi. What's that?
Rainbow.
Rainbow. What color is the rainbow? Name some colors.
All colors.
What's that?
All colors.
All colors. What are all colors? What colors?
Yellow, red, blue, green.
Okay, let's take it slow. Red, blue, yellow, green, all kinds of forest flowers. And his body is smeared with the pulp of sandalwood. What color is the pulp of sandalwood when it's smeared on the body?
Creamish color.
Greenish?
Cream.
Cream.
Creamish color, like.
Cream. Yeah, whitish cream. And tulsi leaves. What color are tulsi leaves? Was that? Generally green, sometimes other color, sometimes purple, but Ram tulsi is purple. So greenish, actually that's Krishna tulsi, but Ram tulsi is green. So you see Krishna walking in the back of the and he's smeared with sandalwood pulp and tulsi leaves, and what's that? He's garlanded with forest flowers. What's that?
He is decorated with ornaments.
Ornaments, yes. He has Vijay. He has sharp-shaped earrings. So many things you can see. So you see Krishna walking, and then what does Krishna's body smell like? A guru. What is guru? What is that made out of?
Like mix sandal and musk.
Okay, sandalwood and musk. And what is musk? Saffron, sandalwood, musk. What does musk smell like? Has anyone ever smelled musk?
What is musk?
I got incense in my room.
Musk is inside of the abdomen of a deer. And the deer, it says, he goes all over the forest looking for where the smell comes from. The aroma comes from. But it's actually coming from his own belly. It's a fantastic smell. It's indescribable. There's nothing like it. No one has ever smelled any real musk here? Maybe if you become a deer in the next lifetime, you'll get the opportunity. Go all around the forest looking for where it came from. No, it's really very attractive aroma. And then between the sandalwood pulp, the tulsi leaves, the musk of Krishna's body, then the bumblebees are smelling it, and they're becoming mad after the treasure and the sweetness of the atmosphere. And what do? What do the bumblebees do? They start humming. Zzz. So you can hear the sounds in your mind. Zzz. Can you hear a sound? And the bumblebees are surrounding Krishna and humming. And Krishna becomes so enlivened by hearing the bumblebees hum, he begins to play upon his flute. So try to hear the sound of the flute. And the combined sounds become so sweet to hear that the aquatic birds, like the cranes, the ducks, the swans, they stop swimming and flying, and they close their eyes. That's because stop swimming and flying, become stunned, and then they close their eyes and enter into a meditation and worship of Krishna. So even in the spiritual world, the birds are meditating on Krishna. So we should be able to do that. So if you do that and hear the sounds, try to smell, try to see, try and taste the tulsi leaf, try to do the same thing the birds are doing in the spiritual world. And then one can actually experience something different state of consciousness. That's why when we chant Hare Krishna, even if our minds are distracted, still there's a difference in our state of consciousness. So that can be deepened just by going over it again, and again, and again, and again, just like we chant Hare Krishna again and again. But if the actual form of Krishna starts appearing regularly, if the qualities of Krishna are remembered, we actually start experiencing in every Krishna consciousness that every time we go over the same thing again, it's always new and fresh and deeper and deeper. Till one is actually aware of Krishna, actually becomes fully conscious of Krishna. So that's Krishna consciousness. That's so difficult to understand, difficult to practice sometimes, because the whole illusory material world is just one big distraction from being Krishna conscious. The material world is like a big playground where we're offered so many toys, And because we don't understand what the real treasure is, we're running after all these little toys that Maya is offering us to keep us busy, so we don't become Krishna conscious. Anyhow, we've been playing around here for a long time, and we should try to play with Krishna a little bit. Try to put Krishna there. Read the books. Try to actually see what they're saying, because if we don't see what they're saying, we're not really seeing anything. So as I start out with Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyaste Sukhamvasi Naiva Dvare Pare Dehi Naiva Dvare Pare Naiva Pare Sarva Karmani Manasa Sanyasyasi Sukhamvasi Narva Dure Paredi Naiva Naiva Dware Paredi Naiva Korvam Nakarya. When the body so controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, the material body, neither working nor causing work to be done. The Kartrivam, the Karmani, Lokasya Srijiti Prabhu, the Karampala Samyogam, Smabhavistu Pravartate. The embodied soul is not the Kartrivam, the Karmani. He's not the performer of the activities, nor is he produce the results. Body, soul, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is acted by the modes of material nature. So we think by ourselves we can change the material, our existence. We think we can change our destiny. But we can actually. But the only way of doing it is we can change from class A prisoner to class B prisoner to class C prisoner if we have bad association. Or we can go up to class A prisoner. But as far as getting out of prison, all we can do is try to depend on Krishna. And understand that he's the one who's, through the material energy we desire, that's all we can do is desire. And if we have the right desire, then Krishna reveals himself to us. We become conscious of Krishna, and this idea that we're this body, and that we're doing everything, that we're responsible for everything that goes on, etc., etc. Then we can see that ultimately Krishna is controlling everything. And all we can do is an instrument. Either a good instrument in Krishna consciousness, or we become an instrument for the illusory energy, which doesn't really help us very much. Nadate kasitet papam, na papam sukritim vibhu, agyanana nirtam gyanam, taina muyanti jantava. That nadate kasitet papam, nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities, embodied beings who are, however, bewildered by the ignorance which covers the real knowledge. So all we're doing is desiring. Desiring, as Prabhupada writes, is a subtle form of conditioning for the soul. We become attached to certain desires, certain conceptions, and certain desires based on those conceptions, all based around our identification with this body and things in relation to the body. And as soon as we desire those things, then immediately we get caught up in this material conception of life. And as soon as we think, this whole world belongs to Krishna, I belong to Krishna, everyone actually belongs to Krishna, and therefore everything here should be utilized for Krishna service, and therefore we become conscious of Krishna, who has unlimited resources, unlimited of everything, unlimited love and beauty and kindness, and we have an eternal relation with him. And as soon as that relation was established by serving him, utilizing things in his service, then the result is that our misidentification as being this body, and anything we have to do with it. It's not that we stop acting like a man or we stop acting like a woman, but we act like a transcendental man and a transcendental woman. In other words, we can't desire, not because we're in this body, we want to utilize the body in Krishna's service, and there's different duties for different personalities, for different bodies. They probably used to say that women, they can have children, so that's part of their dharma, they can have, but men cannot have children. But if a man thinks, well, why should I be left out? Why should I have children? Then it's simply a waste of time. In other words, if you want to be something that you cannot be, that's what we're here in the material world for. But if you're in a particular illusion, and you can't even accept the illusion you're in, you can't even accept the reality of the fact that you're in a certain type of illusion that Krishna has created. I mean, illusion being, it's not that the material world is 100% illusion. There are actually forms in the material world, there are subtle and gross activities going on, and Krishna has designated certain things that you're supposed to do in that particular form in order to get out of that illusion. There's certain duties for that form, for that particular combination of modes to do, and that duty is yajna, sacrifice. Do something for Krishna. If you're a Sudra, serve the higher classes. If you're a Vaishya, then protect the cows. If you're a Kshatriya, then try and manage society, protect people, and make sure that they're receiving the information, the knowledge coming from the Brahmins, to elevate them to spiritual consciousness. And if you're Brahmin, make sure that that's what your life is dedicated to, is to help people elevate themselves to the platform of becoming more aware of either Vishnu or his incarnations or ultimately Krishna. And if you don't do that, then all you're doing is suffering from the results of your past misdeeds. That's all. Trying to endlessly and aimlessly try to survive in the material world and try to get something called pleasure, which nowadays is rather limited. In other words, previously people used to get some actual pleasure from the material world. You know, they had nice air, they had nice food, they had nice water, and above everything, they had nice relationships. They had people who cared for them, and they cared for others, and they had relatively nice existence in the material world. Although, because of their nice they had the maximum amount of happiness you can achieve in the material world, and they realized that there's something more, because they were ready for something more. They weren't distracted by the material happiness because it was rather simple. They didn't have to work for it. It was just very simple. And then when they had an opportunity to go to the festivals, see the dances about Krishna, hear the pastimes about Krishna, hear about worship Krishna in the form of the deities, and then they were receptive to even a higher state of happiness. Their senses were pure, their minds were pure, their intelligence was pure, and they could actually experience Krishna to a higher level than you can when you're distracted by so many fears and anxieties and bad misconceptions. And what's the misconception? Tad buddhiyas gyanena tutada gyanam yesham nashatamatmanaha tesham adityavad gyanam prakashiti tatpara. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which nescience is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, like the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So they're progressively becoming more and more and more conscious of Krishna and his forms and his associates and their pastimes and the loving exchanges become more and more experienced in Krishna consciousness. And how to do it? tad buddhiyas, tad atmanas, tad nishtas, tad parayanaha, gachatnyapana aritim, gyani nirduta kalmashaha. One's intelligence, one's mind, one's faith, one's refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of all misgivings through complete knowledge, and thus proceeds straight on the path of self-realization. And what does one see? Vidya vinaya sampane brahmani gavihastani shuni chaiva swapakecha pandita samadarshana. He sees the learned and gentle, the learned sages, the humble sages by virtue of true knowledge. See with an equal vision the learned and gentle Brahmin, the cow, the elephant, the dog, and the dog eater. In other words, they see everyone as Krishna's eternal servant, and Krishna guiding everyone. And therefore they know, here in the material world, someone may be in this position, someone may be in that position, someone may have this asset or this deficiency, but ultimately, all they need is Krishna, and then their life is perfect. Whatever situation in the material world they may be in, but if they're conscious of Krishna, it makes no difference. Then they have the highest state of happiness that you can get either in this world or in the spiritual world. Then their lives are perfect. And if they don't have Krishna, it doesn't matter what they have, it's a hope they'll never be happy or satisfied. Because they're lacking transcendental awareness and knowledge and pleasure. And therefore, it's just an empty existence, practically speaking. Just trying to fulfill it the best they can and getting temporary so-called satisfaction and losing it after some time. Therefore, ihaiva terajita sarge yesham samyev samamana nidosham hi samam brahma tasma brahmani te sitaha. That those whose minds are established in sameness and equanimity have already conquered the conditions of birth and death. They are flawless like Brahman, and therefore they're already situated in Brahman. In other words, if one comes to the platform of becoming aware of Krishna within the heart and outside, seeing him, seeing how everyone is related to him, then one can have equanimity. One's mind will not be disturbed. And what is the process? Naprarishat priyam prapya, nodvijat prapicha priyam, stira buddhira samudo, brahmavid brahmani saha. Person who doesn't rejoice when he obtains something pleasant, nor laments when he obtains something unpleasant, or self-intelligent, unbewildered, and knows the signs of God, is said to be situated in self-realization. And what is the experience? Bayar sparshe vasatatma vinatmini sukam sabrahma yoga tatma sukam akshayam ashnute. That such a person is not attracted to external sense objects, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure from within. In this way, the self-realized soul enjoys unlimited pleasure because he concentrates on the Supreme. And when one comes to that platform of concentrating on the Supreme, what else is noticeable? Yehi samsparshita bhoga, dukkha yoni evate, adyantavante kontiya nate shuramate buddha. An intelligent person is not attracted to the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the senses, with their objects. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man doesn't delight in them. And has he come to that platform? That Shaknoti Haviyak Shodum Prakshari Rivoksharat Karma Kroda Bhavan Vegan Siyukta Satsaki Mara. A person who can tolerate the urge of the senses and check the force of desire, he's a yogi and is happy in this world. And it goes on until the end of the chapter, where Bhoktaram Yagitas Prasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram Suridam Sarva Bhutanam Gyatvam Shantarishiti. When we can see that Krishna is actually the controller of everything going on here, that everything is actually meant for Krishna's pleasure, and that there's no one who loves us more and wants to help us more than Krishna. We just have to allow him to give us the proper instructions by which we get out of material existence, which we're holding on to real tightly. This is my existence. This will make me happy. This is my stability. This whatever. We have to let Krishna reveal how wonderful he is, so that we become attracted to go back to the spiritual world instead of staying here trying to solve unlimited problems. Because material world means whether you're a big person or a little person, all you do is solving problems all the time. That's why we're sitting here. Big problem is how to sit straight. And when we sit straight, then the real problem is how to keep straight. We try to keep straight. The whole world is just one problem. Then we get up and our knees creak or something. Our foot fell asleep. That's a problem. Then we got to make it up the stairs. Then we got to try to prepare ourselves to go to bed. Then we got to fall asleep. Then we got to wake up. Then we wake up. We got to get out of bed. We have to admit we should get out of bed. And then we get out of bed. And then we have to. I mean, every day everything's a struggle. But we don't mind, as long as there's one drop of honey at the end. And it's worth all the problems. But we're supposed to be in an ocean of happiness, not just one little drop. But we're a little stubborn. So Krishna is saying, you're eternally a little tiny soul. Don't try to become a big, don't try and become unlimited. It's not going to be possible. No, I'm going to do it. Don't tell me what to do. One day I'm going to become the Lord, the enjoyer, and I'll become the friend of everyone, and I'll become the center. The sun will rise in the morning just to shine on me, and it'll go down in the morning and I'll feel separation from me. When I walk down the street, everyone will turn their head and say, there he is, or there she is. And smile and say, yes. He or she made it. You're the Supreme. Anyhow, let Krishna be the Supreme. He's doing a better job at it than we are. And he can help us if we want to, if we take shelter of it. Anyhow, I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes.
Hare Krishna, because you mentioned this struggle in the material existence, but it seems sometimes that also devotees are struggling, and also it seems like devotee communities, they are struggling with everything. So,
No, of course, everyone's struggling. How can you not struggle? If you become a devotee, just because you put on a dhoti or tilak, doesn't mean that, you can eat as much prasadam as possible, as you can possibly fit down, and everything's going to be all right. And the fire digestion must know, well, this is not an ordinary person who ate this food. This is a devotee. Let him be happy. If you don't brush your teeth, you get a cavity. It's not a transcendental cavity. It's going to cause problems. You get up in the morning, it's not because I'm a devotee. I mean, if we were actually devotees, there wouldn't be any problem. But if you go to a hospital and everyone is sick and you're disappointed, I thought, this is a hospital, I thought everyone should be healthy here. No, you're in the hospital because you're sick. Now there may be many sick people outside the hospital. They're very unlikely to get any better. But if you go to a hospital, then you expect sick people, but you expect them to take the process by which they can get cured of their sickness. So we're suffering from bhava roga. We're suffering in the material world. We got this body, it's our prison. We were condemned to get a material body because our causeless unwillingness to develop our love for Krishna. And so we got this body, but now, so it's a disease. And we're in the process called bhava roga, birth, death, old age, and disease. It's part of our sickness. But we can take the cure, chanting of Hare Krishna, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, worshipping the deities, serving the devotees, and trying to live in a transcendental atmosphere. We can take and then we can gradually get cured. So if you think everyone is supposed to be supposed to be perfect because they joined the Hare Krišna movement and automatically became pure, well, it'd be very easy to go back to Godhead. Maya would say, oh, he got his beads, he's chanting, I'm finished with it. No, that's when the real test starts. Maya doesn't want to see insincere people go back to the spiritual world and bother Krishna. Maya wants to make sure that we're actually qualified. So there will be so many tests. Every day is a test. The alarm goes off and we're going to get up or not. It's time to go to sleep. Are we going to check our Facebook page? So many tests, if we have one. I don't know. There's so many tests. So if we pass the little ones, then maybe we'll gradually be qualified to pass the bigger ones. But if we think, who are you to tell me I have to pass the test? I'm already a devotee. Everything's perfect. Can't you see my tila? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you're talking to? You're like Ramachandra Puri, just trying to find faults in someone who's faultless, me. No, there's going to be so many problems, but we're supposed to we're supposed to be like the bees. We're supposed to look for the honey, not like the flies go after the stool. So we're trying to see how the devotees are engaged in devotional service. Appreciate that. They're eternal servants of Krishna, and they're trying to serve Krishna to the best of their ability. And sometimes they fail. Sometimes there's problems. Just like if a child is trying to learn how to walk, they'll take a few steps and fall down. And the parents go, you rotten child, you're a disgrace to the family. I learned how to walk after 5 steps, and you're still not walking. It's been 20 minutes and you still can't walk. You're a disgrace to the family. No, the parents, they know the child is going to fall down because he's just learning how to walk. Now we may notice sometimes there's scandals in ISKCON or whatever. Some devotee had to fall down, or he was a demon, whatever. Me, of course, I'm a pure devotee. I never have a bad thought. I'm never envious. I never engage in sense gratification at all. I only eat exactly what's necessary to maintain my body and soul together. I never say a bad thing. Every time I chant Hare Krishna, just pure nectar comes from my eye, from my mouth. The whole atmosphere lights up. I never look bad. I never give anyone a bad steer. I never yell at talk bad to anyone. I'm just perfect, powerful, and happy. But these other devotees, they're, who can call them devotees? They're all pretenders. It's me. Whatever I did, it's all right. I forgive. I'm very forgiving to whatever I do. I forgive myself millions of times for everything I'm doing wrong. In fact, I'm a dosha darsh. I never see myself doing anything wrong. It's the other envious people who see me doing something wrong. And I see everything they're doing wrong, but I never see anything I'm doing wrong. Because, I'm sincere. I know. Even when I commit a mistake, it's just, it doesn't really count. Krishna doesn't count it. I don't count it. Just some other envious people, they may count it. Because I'm such a nice soul. I can't believe how wonderful I am. Perfect, powerful, and happy. Is that right? Anyhow, try to see the good that's going on. Try to see what's good is going on. And if you can do something, if you have some responsibility to correct others, to help them come to a higher platform, then try to help them if they're willing to be helped. But don't worry about what's going. Look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the deities. Do you ever see them? You go before the deity, you had a bad day, and they look at you and they become morose. No, they're all in ecstasy. Love, because of their appreciation and love. Just the fact that you're there, they appreciate it. They're ecstatic about it. They don't ask you, hey, how did you get here? You know, you rotten, no good soul. No, they're just so happy to see you. It's like your child comes back after 50 years away, and you see them, you don't say, hey, how did you get here? You know, no, you run and embrace your beloved child if you actually have love for them. You're wondering when they're going to come home. So Krishna is just so happy to see us. And he's the only one who, you know, ultimately if no one else is happy, and he's happy, that's what really counts. Because we're all in a state of half madness. We don't really understand what's going on, but he knows what's going on. That's why he's so loving and kind to everyone. And just trying to get everyone out of this useless madness. Anything else? Hvala Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Mislim, moraš zapolniti osnovni delovni cajt, moraš za nalepko, to ni, ne moraš imeti 5 nastopov. Pet sklopov je tam, ja.
Recimo, en festival se ga popravljaš, da 2 tedna, pa slab. Tukaj bo mišljeno, da že imaš.
Ja, to so 4 dni. Ja, mislim, da se pa že delamo isto sandefisti, sandinami, izobraževanja, visok, sem tam že stadeno. Kar delamo, isto se dela, ampak zapisano v Ljubljani. Sem poročila delaš o obstečnem nami, ne pa novim.
Pa to, kar je pač napisano zraven, to, kar se s Hudsko lajfom dela, si tako videl, da ne sem hrana.
Ja, sem zdaj nekako zdaj to širi, zato ker je, mi smo v okviru ozdobnih Ljubljana, ne ostalih zadev.
Nisem delamo darilčka za samo zloženo sklopu v bazarju. To, kar sem tu mislil, da tam aha prašala, da ti ne vidiš, da že imaš, ne pa daš. Pa se ne veš, da bi 10 paketkov, da se v uro še sledi, recimo.
Mislim, iz tega opisa oni ne morajo samo videti, da pač dovolj vsežni projekt,
Da se udeležen,
da se konkretno zdaj.
da se nauči nekaj, pa da...
Recimo.
Ja.
Ta ponedeljek imajo podpiranje ponudkov, ponedeljek mora tam biti.
Če boš rabo, kaj mi povej, če boš pomoč.
Ja.
Pole pa...
Mislim, da obravnavali bojo.
Ja.
Ker je ono naročnik, to ne bojo nepomembni naročnik. Izdelan naročnika, brez tega ne može da.
Ne, sej to smo dobili.
Ja.
Ja, to je to.
Ostalo pa ne bojo nekaj ne
Jaz
vidio.
sem danes govoril z tem Damjanom, ne? Garuda, pač, ta kakao, ne? Za situacijo z Kalinam, ne? Sem ga še skoro vprašal, pa to pa tako rekel, to je v mestu malo pogledal po svoji liniji, s kje je to prišlo, ko je pač pa Jankoviču.
Lej,
Mislim, ne bi zdaj moramo, ker je velika moč, tako se ga sam vprašal. Da sem se ga bilo.
točno, ja.
Babič, vrat, tako.
Ja, že če bomo imeti.
Itak, itak. Oziroma, če ne bo Jankovič, se ne pomeni.
Mislim, moramo dialog začeti
Točno to.
izvajati, karkoli kjerkoli že ta dialog se bo začel.
Ja. Okay. Če boš rado,
Ja, takrat se nadrejo spanirati.
Mislim, jaz
Nekaj da zdaj tam, mislim, da lahko zdaj, mislim, lahko tam vidiš, kot pa dol, čečno.
moje
In to je moja Marina.
Marina?
Marina Vojtro.
Pa vprašanje je.
Nek mikrofon dajte, dva.
Ok, pa mene ne rakate. Da vzem mikrofon.
Ja, dva.
Dobro. Da mikrofon. Pa kaj si na telefonu?
A bilet rade?
Na bilet, ne zdaj, ker sem na bilet.
Vzmišljamo ono vremena, nekaj to znaki, nekaj držmo povedati.
Ne mi zdaj bom biti prvo.
Lahko je zdaj.
Kaj?
Lahko.
Ja.
A se gre na sredo?
Pa je gremo bližce, ja, tukaj gremo naprej.
V nedeljo se to začne ob 3, kako bo rad?
Ja.
Ja, to se
Nekaj ima. Mislim, ni barte se posod.
Nič, mesto bolj... Jaz sem pa to sem hotel reči, da sem za Vrohanovič je rekel za to, za Prahladananda Swami financiranje.
Tam ste videli, da je poslal na konferenco. Nekaj. Kakšne projekte imajo? Zdaj, tako...
Ne, tudi do 20, to ima taka pila moment. No, se pravi, vse vrata so odprta, prav plan je rekel, da bo podporil, karkoli bomo dali na pač tjane. V tem smislu, jaz sem pa v Duhovni rekel, ne.
Vse še roki, ne?
Ne vem, roko ne poznam, nisem dobil informacije, ampak ne moram, ko pridemo leto, zdaj pa nisem hotel sam kontaktirati nikoli v Duhovni. In zdaj, ko se ne dobimo ISKCON Communications, naj se on z njim spozna, s tem pa se isto šlo naprej. Ti, ko bo iz Bhaktivedanta mene ne prišel. Kaj bo to Višaka, Rada Mohan, pač ti, ko bo tam. Tako da pač tako, da mogoče že malo predstavljam za njih kot idejo.
Worthy projects. This year tremendously important performance. Yeah, ISKCON je to
Ja,
super.
Pa še da imajo
Shiva's community.
predvolnico sem dal, pa
Art exhibit and study for celebrities. Mosa, okay. Popular community.
ja, to je nekoliko. To je nova generacija. To je mlajši pevist.
Automatic grant from Bhaktivedanta.
Mogoče da
Ja, Veteransko leto.
Ne vem, če veš tako petih že pravno delo ne dela. Tako je bil. Se hecam. Ne vem, če veš tako že petih pripravljeno ne dela.
Kaj peti?
Eden piše 5. Na plakatu ena manjka, enojka ti manjka. A nisi videl?
Mihael Bogato.
A? Tisti bel papir pobere enojko. Ko da sam 5 piše, da mes 15 piše 5. Dobre je, hvala.
To ste našli tisto?
To je, če smo še dve druge informacije, recimo na Škotskem sem bil financiran, mislim, 7 ali 8 tisoč funtov za Gošaro. Tako da mogoče bila kombinacija ta varianta, se pravi, ta sprejemni del pa Atmarama, pa kombinacija, se pravi, ne samo Atmarama kot poslovnemu delu, ampak tudi ta sprejemni del, kontekst muzeja Bhagavad Gite, veš ta, tako brez.
Really recent post, ne? Recent post.
Ne, ni recent post, ampak je pač, mislim, samo treba sam zlobirati, zdaj, ker je priložnost, da sam zlobirati.
It is this year man's body very ja, samo nima tega.
Ni to, da je tako nekaj spisa. Ker to mi pomaga vedno na recepciji, pa pol še Atmarama, če se ne vem, kombinacija, da lahko pač neka dobra zgodba se iz tega nastane. Od izboljšanja spletne strani do muzejske strani, recimo, pa se lahko nabila. Tako da je neka inspiracija mora iz tega priti.
Ja, mi moramo, ne vem, svoje aktivnosti moramo nekako tako, ne vem,
Veš, ker tukaj
kandidiramo na te
toliko lepih stvari je tukaj, kar se dogaja, ne? Samo moraš jih, kot si sam rekel, moraš jih nekako zapakirati, kako ne bi temu rekel, ne? A veš.
Seveda morajo biti razumljivi.
Tako da je ti zapakiran, pa hkrati, da imaš, da ne delaš nekih novih stvari, ne? Samo zaradi tega.
Ker je spis za to по-моему, примерно